We're back for a part 2 on rust removal from Dollar General because in the comments section on the first video, which was just kind of an experimental joke in all honesty, you guys said toilet bowl cleaner. In fact, specifically, this toilet bowl cleaner, which happens to say rust on it. So one would hope it would remove rust for $3. Let's go try it. Here at Redneck Computer Geek, we pride ourselves on experiments that are done with real-world situations. This engine came off of a go-kart from a fun town, and they left the valve cover off of it out to the elements. And so this is all natural rusted. This is not any kind of instigated vinegar rust or anything. It is all natural. So what we have is, ironically, a perfectly matching set of rusted rockers to be able to compare with. We have perfectly matching set of springs, perfectly matching set of valves and everything. We've even got push rods that come up from the lifters that are perfectly matching rust. Alright, we're going to start with the head first. I'm going to put a coating across this side of the guide to let it eat in. We're going to put a coating on one stud and leave the other one undone. And then we're also going to coat the entire inside of where the valve goes. Now, one thing I do find interesting is there's actually a warning on Lysol bottles that when you put this in the toilet, to leave the toilet bowl seat up. Alright, so we've got that coated, and we've got the valve train coated for the exhaust side. So now we're going to grab this rod and we're going to make sure it's all coated. We're going to coat this valve. I really should just wire bristle this to clean it, but let's see if this grunge will come off. Now this is the exhaust valve side. Exhaust valve is where all the heat goes, so usually they're rusted up worse. You should not reuse rusted valve springs. This is for experimental. You should buy those for 10 bucks. We don't have a matching valve cap, but we're going to do it anyway. These, again, you should not reuse these if they're rusted, but we're going to do this for the sake of the experiment. And we've got the rocker stud cap here. There's a special term for this, and I always forget what it is. We got the 10mm locking nut. And then we've got the rocker itself, which actually is not that rusted on the underside for some reason. So we're going to coat this. We're going to flip it over. We're going to make sure to coat everything inside of there. And there we go. We're going to leave all of that for 24 hours and rinse it off with brake cleaner. See what's going on. Hey, wait a minute. Look at this. There's bubbles already forming all around that carbon buildup. Interesting. It is 4 hours later, and John and I have noticed there's discoloration that looks as if it's actually eating the rust coming out from underneath stuff. There's a weird purple discoloration going on right there. And then whatever's going on here, so let's roll the rod around. Yeah, right there, you can see it's eating the rust off of the side of the rod. And there's bubbles there where it's working at it. Oh wow, a lot of it got eaten off right there. So, this tells me that it's got to actually be submerged to work. And that definitely gets confirmed by this spring over here. If we bring it into the light, you can see where it was submerged, it ate the rust right off without any issue, even though we slathered it all over all of it. So I think what we've got to do is come up with a way to put all of these in the solution. I'm thinking I'm thinking used coffee can or something like that. We'll have John grab one of my instant Folgers cans, set all of this stuff in it, and see if that makes a difference over the next 16 hours. So let's check all of these. And again, we're at 4 hours in. Yeah, it ate the edge of the rust off of there that was under. Oh yeah, you can see the rust particles there that fell off of it. Let's check the valve. Now the face of this valve was a lot of carbon. And I didn't bother wire bristling it because I wanted to see if this would actually eat the carbon off. Which, I mean, it did a little bit, but not much. But again, look, see, that wasn't submerged. This was. Let's check this rocker. Oh, wow. Yeah, submerged versus wasn't submerged. That's the difference here. Okay, I don't usually change an experiment once we start the experiment, but obviously, I mean, you can't argue with the difference there. It obviously has to be submerged for this to work, and it's obviously working if it is submerged. So I think we're going to have you go grab one of my instant coffee Folgers bottles, and we're going to hope this stuff doesn't eat the bottom of the bottle out. Okay, every part is underwater now. I did add a little bit more Lysol to this. We're about half a bottle in. I did want to take and make a side note that the aluminum casting is bubbling, and I'm not sure whether that's going to cause damage over time, but I just wanted to point it out as a potential problem with this idea. So, we started this at 10 o'clock in the morning. We're going to come back at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning and see where we're at. So it won't quite have been under for 24 hours. It'll actually have been under for like 18 to 20 hours. But you get the idea. We've got our control group set out here. We've got the head over here that we tore apart. And we got where they've been sitting for the last 24 hours. Now, on the head, we can see that we covered it up with the Lysol, and we can see the difference there from doing the Lysol. So let's spray it down and see if anything knocks off. Oh yeah, look at that difference. Alright, let's check inside these valves. So this is the Lysol treated, and this is the untreated. Alright, interesting. It didn't touch the carbon at all, basically. I guess that's still getting a wire bristle brush. And we also allowed the Lysol to sit right here on the casting. So let's spray this off. It did not eat into the casting. As you can see, there's no pitting. Actually, if anything, it looks like it smoothed it out really nice. It's an interesting byproduct. Alright, let's get to the real star of the show here. Alright. I got this on the wrong hand. Okay, whatever. Alright, we got the rod. Oh, wow. That's amazing. Where's the original? Yeah. Okay, let's do the valve next. I think the valve was probably my curiosity point. Oh, look at the carbon coming off onto my fingers. That carbon is just dropping right off. Okay. Well, most of the carbon dropped off. You can see that there's definitely some right there that's stuck. Alright, so it took rust off. Really good. Alright, we'll put that next to its counterpart. What are we doing next? How about the spring? Just for the giggles of it. Alright. Yeah. Yeah, that ate every bit of it off. Alright, let's put the spring next to its counterpart. Alright, there's the adjuster. That's another amazing transition. Wow, look at the rocker. Look at that difference. Holy cow. Look at the two of those next to each other. Alright, let's see, we got a nut, and somewhere in here is the cap. There it is. Alright. Yep, those are nice and cleaned off too. Now, all of these are gonna have to be oil treated so that they don't flash rust. But if we put that there, and we put that next to its counterpart, and we put that there. There, John, if you scoot down, look at the difference. Lysol, $3 from the Dollar General store, leaving it overnight, not a single bit of scrubbing. That's amazing.